I'm Lisa, and I'm the mom half of this duo.
And I'm Shada. I'm Lisa's daughter. And welcome to Two Peas in a Plot, our little corner of the internet where we talk all things books.
We read across genres and love everything from underrated gems to longtime favorites.
And just a quick heads up while we try to avoid spoilers, we do talk about what we liked or didn't. So there might be a few light spoilers along the way just to give you some context.
So if you love stories and want to grow your TBR, hit that subscribe button and join the plot. Well, today's book is called The Corner Shop by Elizabeth Cadell. I think I'm pronouncing it right. And I'm going to read the back of the book because that's the best description. It's kind of, I don't want to say convoluted, but it gets a little messy when she goes to her secretarial job. I'll explain later. But her name, the main character is Lucille Abbey, runs her London secretarial agency with the utmost efficiency. When therefore a certain Professor Hallam rejects three girls sent by her to apply for the post of his secretary, and they each pronounce him impossible, Lucille herself sets out to interview the professor at his home in Hampshire. He is, she finds, eccentric, even impossible, but he represents a challenge and, what is more, an excuse to delay what promises to be a trying holiday in Paris. She stays on to tame and to organize him, a less formidable task than she had imagined. In fact, she grows fond of him. But the atmosphere is somewhat disturbed first by the arrival of a debonair French art expert in search of paintings left to the professor by his mother, and the next by a hysterical girl on the track of her runaway husband. I'm sorry, not husband, fiance. The paintings have unaccountably disappeared. The mystery is still unsolved by the time Lucille's work for the professor comes to an end, and she has to set off for Paris. At her aunt's shop in Paris, the arrival there of the indomitable art expert, the hysterical girl, the professor, and a persistent suitor to boot throw Lucille's normal, orderly life into complete upheaval. And that might not catch you, but this
Uh,
book
that sounds so British to me.
does.
So quirky, so properly British. It is British, right? Is that
Oh,
what?
I believe so. Yeah, I think it doesn't say, but
I mean,
this,
if it takes place in Hampshire,
yeah, it's
or part of it takes place in Hampshire.
yeah. And I forgot to say that this was published in 1966. So this author was born in 1903. So it's one of those books. It's not one of those furrowed middle brow publications, but it's kind of that era, or those female authors like D.E. Stevenson. But it is a cute story. It's written. I think I like these kind of books because they're written differently, and you kind of don't. I don't have the flow right, so I kind of have to just go with it and relax and just read it as it is. The guy, I think it's the professor. He is just kind of annoying, but you grow to love him, and he is a good person, and there is a mystery there, believe it or not. After all of that, there is a mystery to resolve, and the paintings are the professor's mother's paintings, and he doesn't understand why this guy wants them because they're horrible. They're horrible paintings, but you come to find out why later. And his mother has passed, so he's thinking he's going to close down this property in the house, and he needs a secretary to catalog everything and get it sold. It's super cute if you like that. I think it was described too as a classic light romantic mystery. It's really, really light. because
Light
she's
on the
actually,
romance?
yeah, light on the romance, which is fine with me. I'm more into the mystery part, but it's kind of quirky that she has a fiance, but she's not ready to say yes to him. And you find out why. It's not giving anything away. I just don't know that I could capture it within a one sentence, but he's actually freaking annoying. And I'm glad she gets rid of him. But
Oh, was that a spoiler?
yeah, I think I just spoiled something there. But you don't know why, you don't know how. And she meets these characters along the way that are just lovely people. It's just it's just a cute story. Short, sweet, easy read, I think, but different that it still captures you. And sometimes because it's so different, I feel like after a chapter I have to kind of take a break. And that could be just me because I can't quite get the flow. Not the flow. I don't know how to
No,
describe
I,
it.
I think you're actually
What?
describing it really well because when you look at popular fiction throughout decades, there are definite trends. There are trends in just the structure of chapters, the structure of scenes. I mean, I think the core of a written story is the same across, centuries, but still, there are certain trends. There are certain ways that people wrap up chapters or like, and then there are, the trope-based trends, like, oh, everyone's doing this kind of trope now. Everyone's doing that kind of trope now. And I'm thinking, you're you're not feeling that comfortable rhythm because it doesn't exist in this slightly older book.
Right.
It's she's just doing her own thing. I would be interested to see how similar it is to other like this would require a lot of research, but if you found similar books in that genre, which I get light romantic mystery, mystery with light romance, or everything's light about it. I don't know. But I would be interested to see just kind of academically because I'm a huge nerd if it follows like if you could find not that you should, but if you found theoretically similar books published around the same time, do they feel like that too? But I think what you're describing, I think you're describing it well. A very specific type of cadence that is just not trendy anymore. So you kind of feel like, whoa, where are we going here with the how it's structured and how it like how it's paced?
Yeah.
I think it's just because it's an older book that doesn't have the same pacing conventions that we're used to reading now.
Right. I agree with all you're saying because even Mrs. Polyfax, that was easier to read to me. No, I think they were published about the same time. I could be wrong. But this one, maybe because it's British, but it's also these characters that get introduced. And I don't know if I can't tell from the writing if they're bad or good, but maybe that's her whole writing style. I got to read more of her to see how if she writes the same. It's a little bit different than one of the older books I read from another author, the Near Neighbors author. That was easier to read because I knew the neighbors were nice and the main character was nice.
Oh, so you're approaching it like you don't know how to feel about anybody, and that
That
kind of stressed you out.
that and yeah, and it is just different. She was really short at the professor's home, and then all of a sudden now she goes to Paris. And Paris, I think, took maybe half the book. I can't remember. And so I didn't expect to be in Paris that long. I thought that was towards the end. But all of a sudden, I th- I don't think it's given too much away. I think they have a fight, the professor and oh, he basically, I think the job is done. She's done her job, her secretarial job, and then she has to go to Paris to give her aunt a break from the store that she has. I think could be a bookstore, but I don't really remember. But you find out the aunt isn't so lovely a person. But you'll find all the characters. It's just yeah, it's a different flow. And so it was really good. Um, but because I guess maybe I read a lot of books for comfort. So when something unsettles me, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. but I have a hard time um, figuring everybody out because I guess I can't relax when I'm not trying to read. I want to figure it out. Who is this person
Oh
good?
yeah.
She ripping her off? I don't know. Anyway, it was a good book. I'm glad I read it. It I'd seen it around a while. So I
You know,
had
it's
to
funny you say that, like, is this person good? Is this person bad?
hmm?
I don't know why. I just thought of the very, very first time I read Harry Potter when I was like 11.
Yeah.
And I think the first kid he meets is when he's buying his robes. I think it's when he's buying his robes. He's in Diagon Alley and he meets Draco. And I thought, oh, he met a friend.
Uh-oh.
I was very, very wrong.
How funny. I need to
But
go read those again.
yeah, I do too, actually. But yeah, that was the first person he met, and I remember thinking, oh, he met a friend. And then I realized later, like, oh no. And I'm curious because I was so young, and
Mhm.
when you're that little, I think actually I read them when I was 11, and in that first book, they're all 11. So it's
Oh,
perfect.
wow.
Yeah. So I'm thinking like, oh, he can connect, he can belong, and I'm interested to go back and see like I'm sure Draco was not described that flatteringly,
Yeah.
but and I'm pretty sure like very shortly thereafter I was like, oh, this is not a good kid. But yeah, like trying to figure out I know I've had that experience in other books where I'm like The Hunger Games. I couldn't tell if
Yeah.
PETA really liked Katniss or if he was really manipulative. And that was exciting though. But now going back and reading, because I know, I feel like everyone knows kind of the
Yeah.
trajectory of that story, but that was half the fun to me because I was like, is he manipulating her? And Katniss is like, he's manipulating me. So, but I could see if you're trying to relax or you just want something cozy and
Hmm.
you're like, I don't know who's double crossing who and who's good and who's bad. Um, yeah, that could be kind of stressful. And especially if it's written in such a way, like if you aren't familiar, and maybe it's just her. Maybe it's
Yeah.
not a trend thing. Maybe it's just the way she writes and she leaves some of that, she leaves some amount of, well, you haven't really figured out how the character, like how they fit into the main character's story.
Yeah, I'm not really, yeah, I can't place it. I just remember it. I being tired after the first, after a chapter. I'm like, oh, I have to take a break. Until I think when she finally got to Paris and I was getting into a rhythm, and then she was being more, but more forceful in her decision making. And so then it was like, okay, okay, I understand now.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if you're kind of like, I feel like you're an empath. So if
Oh,
the character is uncomfortable and unsure of herself,
hmm,
maybe you're kind of mirroring that while you're reading it. And I don't know if I would feel like our listeners are kind of getting this sense from you.
hmm.
If anything is stressful, you need a break from it after. I mean, I guess everyone does, but like,
Right.
but like a leisure activity. Like if you play too much Animal Crossing, you need
Yes.
to take a break. Animal
Ex-
Crossing is the most relaxing game, but yeah, you gotta gather all your things, you gotta construct things. But yeah, I could see you mirroring if the character is unsure of something, you kind of absorb that emotion. So it's a stressful experience.
I
That's interesting.
I think that's why I tend to not I gravitate away from certain books because they stay with me a long time, which is a very good thing that the author's done. But I can't let it go. Some books have stayed with me a while, which is a good thing. But then I don't want it to. I want to let go of it, and I have a hard time of letting go of the feeling that I got from reading it. So that's a very good observation. Yep.
That's very interesting though. It's
Hmm.
because you said it the way you said, like she got more sure of herself in her decisions, and then you felt more comfortable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like you are mirroring that kind of what the character's feeling. You feel it,
I can feel it and it
and it,
bothers
yeah.
me. But I think I will read another one and kind of compare it and see what I felt, if I felt the same.
Yeah, I would be interested to see what you think about her other books and if it's just the way she writes is just very, I'm sure to an extent it's very
Yeah.
unique to her, but um Yeah, I'd be interested to see what else, what if you read any more by her, what you think about them.
Yeah, I and maybe about the same time frame too, around the 60s, not
Yeah.
maybe her earlier books. I could compare more. So, I guess that's all we have today. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Thanks for being here and talking books with us.
And if you love stories and want to grow your TBR, hit that subscribe button and join the plot with us. And we'll see you in the next chapter. Bye, y'all.
Bye.